Hello RC fans, welcome to number 4 in my video build for this Tamiya Super Champ re-release, aka Fighting Buggy. So in this video we start the build. A bit of a spoiler alert, I got as far as fitting the back gear casing to the chassis with the posts for the upper deck, so I haven't put that on yet. So that's about step 13 or something like that. So I broke this down to a couple. It takes quite a long time to build properly, I should say, and to film. So you've got to kind of, although the camera's in one place and I've only got to speak, sometimes I forget. So it takes a little bit longer to sort of get things to where I want them. Nice build so far, spoiler alert again. Some of the upgrades that I got, I kind of knew that when I bought them, that they're not compatible with the Super Champ. There's some things I learnt during the build which I didn't know, things I already knew as well. So sit back, hope you enjoy it. It's I'll try to keep it as detailed as I can, showing you bits and pieces. And any sort of difficulties that I had when I built it, but it's fairly straightforward. Just got to make sure you read the instructions. So sit back and enjoy the first part of this build. And here we are, we're going to start the Tamiya Super Champ build. Well, it's called a Fighting Buggy. Got the instructions here. Got everything laid out. All the hop-ups are just off site, off your site here. All the other bits are in the box. It's kind of, when you're building a buggy, it's kind of your happy place, isn't it? Although I do get a lot of excitement and enjoyment out of rebuilding old nitros, I have to say. But right. Tools: the trusty screwdriver, pin nosed, tweezers I should say, and cutting pliers to cut things off of the trees, you know, the plastic trees. It does say a standing knife. I have got a standing knife, one of them. It says pin nose pliers. Well, I have got them, but they're not very good. These ones, they're just worn out. I need to get some more. I need some decent pin nose pliers, if I'm honest. Oils, glues, Phillips, hex wrench. I've got those just out of sight. It says to do the electronics first. I'm not going to do that. I haven't got a speed controller. I only got a servo. It's sat just over this way. Right. So step 1 is the gearbox, and straight away it's got the the final gear. So the very first step, although it's bag A, I'm not going to be using that. So I bought myself Buggy Champ ball diff set 2. So the first thing I did, don't just chuck them away. The important bit on there is you can just see, zoom in, those washers. See in there? They've got to be a certain way round. So that's the important bit. The ball diff grease they give you is here, but I don't use that. It's pretty the same. Professional ball diff grease for professionals. Okay, that's what I'm going to use. Right, let's get some of this residue off here. First thing, just put some grease around that final drive, just so I've got something to put the balls in. So just a little bit like that. Then I'll use like a Allen driver with a little bit of grease on the end to pick the balls up with, and just slot them in. So I'm not going to lift it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and Tamiya give you 2 extra in case you lose them, I guess. We'll keep them on the magnetic board for a minute. Okay. We've got these shims, so they need to go in greased. Got the diff liner, or the inner diff, so I'll put a little bit on that as well. It just helps it stick together. And then we've got to build the thrust ball bearing. So taking careful attention to the orientation of these springs. It goes like that, up, and then you got the thrust race like that. Now a diff plate, I'll cover that, I'll use my fingers here. Where's the Tamiya wrench? Come on, Tamiya wrench. Where did I put it? There it is. So I've got to hold that and then do it up with my shit pliers. Oh, hang on. Like that.
Well, it was at this point when I've just put it all together, and I don't know if you saw that in the video, but he dropped it, it just fell out, and all those little discs rolled around. And I'm sat there thinking of all the things that you've got to do, and it's freaking drop that. Because everything that falls on my desk, if you've watched my previous videos, it rolls off the desk into oblivion and never seen again. So I was sitting there trying not to shout.
It all fell out. Well, there's them. Where the hell's that thrust race gone? Hang on. Hang on. So it gets a bit slippery, so fully tighten the diff bolt with the wrench, which is what I've done. So without stripping it, and then it says loosen by 1/8. So I'm going to do it less than that. I don't want it too loose. Okay. Effectively, that should go on there now. That's that. Make sure it rotates smoothly. Which it kind of doesn't. I'll have to undo it a little bit. Right. It's built. It's a nice bit of kit. The important bit is those grooves. I don't want it, my hands are a bit greasy. Hang on, let me just wipe my hands or something. So there's a groove on there that's got to line up. It's to do with the adjustment when it's in the actual. I guess it's when it's in, because you can still see that, as you will see that even though it's in the gearbox.
No, you won't. I don't know why I said that. What am I thinking? Let's move on.
Okay, so I've done it. It's not as loose as perhaps what it's saying it to be, but it's loose enough. Right. Keep those instructions, we'll need them. Okay, so now I'm going to open bag A. It's got a lot of the gears which I'm going to need, and the various bits and pieces. Right, let's empty these out. There's the original final gear, just for a solid axle. Won't be using that. So I've also got stainless steel hardware and steel bearings. It came with bearings, and of course using this means I've got to match it up to what comes in the kit. So it's going to take a bit longer. It does come with I think, yeah, A, B, C, D. That correlates to the A, B, C, D bag, and it was in like that, so I'm guessing that's A. But I don't know for sure. I suppose one of the important things is when building these with your hop-ups, it's not to get everything out at once. If you've got screws, bearings, the hardware, the actual parts themselves. So we're just putting this together, but I don't need that because I've already got it here. It's built, so I just need to add the bearings onto this, which is what I'm going to do now. They're typical normal size bearings, so that's these ones, so I'll stick them on, or not, as the case may be. So that's part of the diff. Got three sort of gears. I think that's one. Yeah, so one of them's already got the gear on there, and that has two normal size bearings on there, so that's fairly straightforward. Something really easily overlooked. I don't know if you can see that. That's got like a shoulder on each side. There's a short one and a longer one. They've got to make sure that's the right way round, which is very easily to miss. I'm still not convinced. Like that, and then you put some bearings on. Those gears are done. That one's pre-assembled. That's got a hole in the shaft. Right, need to get the gearbox cases out now. So I will say the gearbox halves, which are cast, it's been a while since I've built one of these, like years. Well, it wasn't actually me that built it, I think my dad did it. It feels, I don't know, maybe it did feel like that. It feels quite cheap. But anyway, I'm going to put this together. I'm also going to put some sealer around the gear casing, so that, you know, best I can, nothing will get in it. That's the plan. Right, okay.
let's just assemble the back end, putting these gears in, sealant, putting it together, and also these UJs. On the original one, these were brass, and these used to be steel upgrades. I think that's just probably more monkey metal, I guess, but I guess you can get upgrades for them. But okay, let's assemble the gearbox. So you get the ceramic grease, but we're not using that. I'll go back to this high performance, what is this? Lithium. Just normal, well, not normal, high performance lithium grease, right? Got to be careful what I do here, but it is in. I've just got to grease it and put it all together. A very small covering of silicone, and then we're going to put this together. Right, now I've got to get some hardware. Hopefully that will stay like that. The hardware isn't the standard, it's going to be the stainless steel. So let me dig that out, and then I'll put these on again, and then, well, not again, put these on, and I'll come back. So the silver one's the one, the hardware one, the upgraded one. So I need some of them. I'm going to throw that back in there. I need, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 5 of them. Now will I be using Loctite? No. No. Right, let's put these in. Which does it go around? Okay, so this should, I hope it screws in actually. Should do. Oh, I've got to get my, which one of these is going to fit? Is it that size? No! Is it? Can't be that one, that's massive. Maybe that one, will it? Oh, it will be. There must be more here. I'm going to put, there's a couple more. I'm going to put some of these in, because I'm not sure if any need to come out. There you go. I've put them all in. No other reason other than if I need to take them off again, then I will. It's a tight diff, that's fine. Good. It's gone to perfect. So I'm only on stage 1. You're probably thinking I could build that in the time it's taken you. Maybe. Maybe you could. But it's not all about how quickly you can build it. Step 1 done. Nice. Step 2 is pretty much, turn that around, it's the bit that goes on the back, which are these lovely machined aluminum parts. Burp. Again, it says Loctite again, so I will probably Loctite some of this together. So they can go any way, but the flat end goes on the inner, and that bevel goes there. We've also got rear bumper rod. It's back on. Brace for the back. We're on step 3 now. Spring arm shafts and the rear wishbones. Right, we go those bits out as well. So I nearly overlooked something here. In the kit, you get them. And I'll put normal grub screws in. In the hardware bag, them. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, slightly overlooked that from myself. Right, let me they go on the pivots that go through these, what are they called? Spring arm shafts. They've got a hole that goes all the way through. Right, I'll put those in now. It transpires that these came with the sort of the hardware, the new hardware, but they don't fit. They're too big. Unless you drill those out, which I wasn't prepared to do. But yeah, that was a bit fiddly. Yeah, I kind of remember that when building one, but right, okay, so that's the wishbones on. Nice. Can't believe we're only on part 4 at the moment, which is like just the rear assembly. Things are falling all over the place. I'm trying to keep tidy, which I have. More grub screws, Loctite. I wasn't sure where these go. They've got holes here. Don't they go down for like a under tray? I don't know. It doesn't mention it anymore. But anyway, we've got the rear bumper to go on. That FS. Fucking shit. I don't know what it stands for. Well, I should know. What does it stand for? FS. Free. No. FS. Free floating progressive damping suspension. Free floating suspension. FS. Anyway, let's put these back on. Well, not back on. This is where the shock would go. And all that. It's nice. I mean, it's nice to build a metal Tamiya. Plus, it's one that I could never afford. But anyway, when I was younger. Rear ends all coming together nicely. Loctited in. Next is step 5. Includes the motor, which I won't be doing, and the shafts. So I'm going to put the half shafts in, bearings, and we'll have this all sort of linked up at the back, so that shouldn't be too difficult. So that's up to step 5. Yeah, it's all good. Brings back good memories of the SRB builds, even though it's not an SRB. It's probably classified as an SRB, but I haven't put the motor in because I haven't got a motor yet. So step 5, I believe that's everything. So we're going to be moving on to step number 6, the spur gear and cover, and then we'll start building the rear shock. So that's going to be next. Right, step 6. The spur gear. The spur gear comes in 2 different sizes. Just wondering where the spur gear is in here, isn't it? So in the kit, you get 2 spur gears, plastic spur gears. And what I bought is the aluminium upgrades. So they come in, like I say, 2 different sizes. 2 different pinions come with the kit. Pretty much because it's, you can't just swing the motor around to make big pinions and smaller spurs. You're kind of limited. So a particular pinion goes with a particular spur. I think you can use them. Not sure if you can use them both. You can't, because you can't actually move the engine motor. I keep saying engine and motors. That Christ. So it's fixed. You either use that one with the pinion or that one with the other pinion. It is a bit of a shame. So, but we are talking 1984 technology. Now, although this is all sort of together, this side is a little bit stiffer. No reason why it should be, but this one's loose. That one's a bit stiffer, but that'll be fine. I have ordered CVDs for the back, so to do away with these, and aluminium hubs. What else would I order? And some. I think I've got them anyway, but they're in the other one. What I've got down there. What is the Rough Rider? Like rubber boots that go over the ends, so it sort of protects it a little bit. This one's got a pin that has to go on the end here anyway, but it's exactly the same as the CVDs. But what I'm going to do now is, I'm not sure which spur to put on, to be honest. I haven't got a motor yet, so it's going to be more, I'm not interested really in the top speed, so it's more acceleration. So I think I'll probably put the smaller, the larger spur gear, and that I have to go with the smaller pinion. The pinion, I think, here, although I'm not going to put this on, this is like 15 teeth. It doesn't really matter. I'm only going to put one of these on anyway, so let me get the bits out that I need. Because it says I need, there's a screw, a washer, I've got the high and low ratio, got thread lock, which I won't need to put on there. And then the cover can go on there. Where is the cover? That must be in there somewhere. I can sort of nip that on for now, so it's on there out of the way. So let's just get the bits out I need. Nice aluminium spur gear. I don't know how many teeth that one's gone. It doesn't actually say, but either or. Basically, a small shaft, or collet, or a pin, which goes into the. The problem is I don't really have the ability to show you whilst I'm doing it. So that will go into there, which securely goes onto there, like that. I've just got a washer and a fixing pole. So I'm not going to put thread lock on at the moment. So let me just do that up. It's not hard. Got everything out. I just read the instructions through, so I've not built one of these rear shocks before. It comes with damper oil, as all Tamiya kits generally do. I wasn't going to use this damper oil, but I think I will, because you've got to use the bottle and the oil that's in it to sit on the back. It's a bit of a weird, that's, FFPDS. Free floating progressive damping suspension rear setup with transverse damper, one single damper, and a large oil reserve tank. Well, that basically. So it's not super complicated. I enjoy building shocks, as you probably know, so I'm gonna build this up, and if I get any sort of difficulties I'll come back and show you. It's a bit fiddly. So when excuse me, when building the shock, it does come with two O-rings, BB8, BB9. The BB8 is slightly thicker and the BB9 is a bit thinner. The thin one goes on the outside and the thicker one goes on the collar, stop it sort of rattling loose, I guess. Just something to be wary of when you put in it, because they look both the same when you pick them up. But in the shock, the shock guide, you need to put like a couple of bushings, an O-ring. Looking at that, I think it is just one O-ring, I believe. No, two red O-rings. Read the instructions, and I've done it before, but I'll show you again. This is shock O-ring grease. So I use that, which is this stuff. You don't need a lot of it. Just, I think it helps seal the end to hopefully stop the oil leaking out, is generally why I use it. So I'm going to put this on bit by bit and assemble the shock, or the piston bit, and then it'll be down to the oil. So I've got that all together, the guides, and that's like super smooth. I put a little bit of grease around the shaft as well as I put it in. So that's that bit done. Just got to put the end on and then do some oil. So it's built, it's an open-ended shock, so there's got to be you've got like the pipe to go on there, and the other bit goes into this, so this sort of fills the space up that's sort of between the pipe, this, and the shock, this sort of reserve tank, if you like. So what you can't do is push this up and down at the moment, because it's just going to squirt out the top. It's a bit of a messy job, but I won't know what it feels like until I actually put it together. So that's the next bit. On to step 9. Yeah, so there's a bracket that you put, this has to go on. I don't know, it looks like I've got to cut something off. I'll have to check it out, make sure I'm not using the wrong one. Reserve tank, yeah, I have to read that. It looks like I might have to cut that spout off. Don't know, that's going to be messy. Well, anyway, keep pumping, as they say. So I didn't realise that. Are they all like that? It's got like a cap which comes off. I didn't know that. Is that just this, or? I mean, I never knew that happened. What do I do with that now? It's got to be thrown away, I guess. So the bottle then is, don't drop that, is literally like that, and you've got like an aluminium funnel. Where have I got? Where's that? Here. So it gets replaced with that. There are upgrades you can get, which have, you don't actually use this bottle, you use like an aluminium replacement, and that just snaps in. So I never knew about that. That's again something new every day. Right, I'm going to put this together. So it is on there. I've just realised there's a bit of free play here. That. That's not do. So what I think I might have to do is put that one all the way down. I've got to undo these pinch bolts, which I've Loctited on now, so, and then you can lower that wishbone on this side, which is what I'm going to try and do now. That's why I don't like using Loctite, but anyway I have, so let's see what we can do. Seems that you can't get rid of that sort of free play there. Maybe it's not supposed to. When it's down the floor, it's not going to do that anyway, is it? And it's at full droop. Don't suppose it really matters, but unless you know, it seems to work alright, even though that's not, it is got a few air bubbles in that tube, but nothing that I don't think is a problem. There's the finished rear end. Yeah, looks right. As I say, we've got some drive shafts coming. I haven't got a motor yet, but yeah, it's alright. Something different, unusual design, to be honest, compared to the normal sort of SRB chassis. So we're now at the point where we can put the rear roll cage and rear crash bars on. So I think I also bought a rear crash bar, I don't know. This one, I don't know if the rear structure would fit, because it's only a single bar by the looks of it. I don't think it's got the drop bars to fit on there. Don't think it's the same, because there isn't anything, so I might not be able to use this. We'll see. We'll put the original one on, which is here, that came with the kit. Oh, of course it came with the kit. What do you think it's going to go with? Yeah, we'll put that one on first, because it's a single bar. Well, that's got holes in it to put the drop bars on, so I'm not sure it's the same. So that's probably not going to fit. Also got an anti-roll bar. That's rear, but again that's for a sand scorcher. I'll have to figure that out. I've got a Rough Rider to build, so maybe I can use it on that if it doesn't fit. So let's get the cross structure put on. Probably go up to step 12 in this episode, which is the chassis, which is the carbon fibre chassis, because after that 13 and onwards is front like shocks. So we'll split it in half, I think. Right, let's I don't know. Let's carry on for a bit. So first things first, we've got to put these like little studs on. I'm not Loctiting on this now because they've got to be pinched. So we've got to put the clamps on and then attach the rear crash bar. So let's do it. Let's get that done. Small detail thing. These brackets, these cusps that go onto the roll cage, they are numbered. So that one's 3 and 4, and this one's 1 and 4. Where's 2? Not that it's any problem, but it's all in the detail. It's all in the detail. Right, I need to try and. It's not going to be too. I've actually got to put this on before I put those halves on. It's a bit fiddly now, so I need to turn the camera off while I mess about. We're back in a minute. So that's all together. If you're noticing, this is all spread over a few days. UK weather, 18 degrees, but listen, rain. That's all we do. It rains in this country. That's what it does. It costs a fortune, and it rains. Right, now I'm going to try and put that. Not try it. I'm going to put that onto the chassis, and then I'll come back with the final bit. We'll put in this. That's to the rear structure, not the chassis, and then we'll come back putting the whole thing onto the carbon fibre chassis. So let's just quickly put this on. There you go. Lovely. Right, final bit to do for this video is attach it to the chassis itself. This chassis again is not a standard chassis. It's the 2.5mm carbon fibre chassis. Not really opened it yet, so let's get into it. Until now, let's get that. That's impressive. Little camp cycle at the bottom as well. Look, lovely finished. And what that will do now is that goes onto the chassis here. All the bolts line up. So I'm going to dig those out. We've also then got some posts that go on there for the top deck. Now that isn't carbon fibre, that's just FRP. So I'll use that in the kit. So I'm going to put that on and the posts, and then I'll be back. So that's it up to step 12. The posts on here are not done up super tight yet. They've got little holes in them. I'm not quite sure what they're for. So they're not done up tight. I haven't used Loctite. But the carbon fibre chassis, so the camera doesn't do it justice actually, but it looks really nice. One thing you do know is when you consider these SRB style chassis, they're quite heavy. When like the Grasshopper and the Hornet came out, they were significantly lighter. That was one thing I did notice. And with a silver can motor in this, they was okay. They're not supposed to be ballistically quick, but of course now with like you could put a brushless setup in it, which is what I'm planning to do. It's going to be quite nice and lively. I mean the carbon fibre chassis looks awesome. The back is pretty much stock more or less, so it looks as it's supposed to. The body shell is here, so you can see that will go. It goes on sort of like this. That's kind of what it's going to look like. These pictures go around like that. Yeah, it'll look quite nice when it's done. You can see it's a different blue. Well, so you can't see the box here because I've got the camera there, but it's not in the right place. But yeah, it does look quite snazzy. Even though some bits I bought don't fit, is what it is. I'll probably try and have a look at the rear anti-roll bar next before I go on to the front, because the next steps are just the front shocks and things and steering. So it's a fairly typical front end of an SRB. They're the same no matter what you got. Shock absorbers tend to leak. I'll try and build them so that they don't. I've all run them upside down as they're supposed to be. There's some springs somewhere which I haven't seen yet, but it's obviously going to be another bag. But that's going to be the end of this series, end of this part, and look out for another part for the build coming up in due course. Let me know what you think. If you've got one, you're getting one. If you had one, if you've got an original, what do you think of them? It's one of those kits I never had, because, as in the Super Champ, because I couldn't afford it. From memory, it's quite a bit different to what the Sand Sculpture was. The rear end, anyway. The front's going to be the same. Plus, this doesn't have that box, does it? It's a FRP platform that you put all the electrics on, because it was designed at the time for racing. I don't know how successful it was, but anyway, there we go. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you up for the next part. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.